So this is the beginning of it. And how do I do it? I don't know, because none of us knows. We are transitioning, and we're learning how to use fifth dimensional energies in our third dimensional world. So we're not leaving the 3D world completely, but we're going to navigate in 5D mode. What is 5D mode? It's exhilarating, it's exciting. It's not fear, but excitement can feel like fear, right? So anything that's fear gets moved over into excitement. It's quick, it's fast energy, it's transformative, it's positive, it's full of love and light, it's shiny energy, it is fast. That's the thing that keeps coming back, fast, 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 fast. And so there are some of us who have been working with these energies because they are coming onto the planet through the solar flares and geomagnetic storms and all kinds of interesting astrological things and otherworldly things and forces that we don't have to know about, because just like we've always existed without really knowing about the forces like gravity, doesn't matter if we know about gravity, right? It keeps us on the ground. So we don't have to know the science behind this right now, and that's not what 5D is. Having to know the science and having to prove something is 3D. 3D is war, gossip, cheating, lying, stealing, jealousy. That's 3D. 5D doesn't have any of that in it. And if you've noticed some of the kids that are in their 20s that are born into the newer vibration, now some of them are still, they've hooked into the old 3D energy, but a good portion of them, and that's why you're seeing a lot of like the gender fluid, and guys can hang all over guys, but they still have girlfriends and they're not gay. They love each other. These people love one another. They know how to have compassion. They're on the new vibration, right? It's just all about space and love and fluidity and helping one another and really wanting to build together, to community, right? Really not feeling separate. Drop the ego, right? So the 5D, we don't even think about those heavy, weighty things, right? When we start to transition to 5D, we actually physically lose weight, but we lose weight from our emotional body, we lose weight from our mental body, we lose weight from our energy body. Everything that's been bogging us down and holding us back releases, and we just get to fly high, and we're free. We have no boss, we're sovereign, we don't have to worry about the system, we don't turn on the news, we just go, 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 go. And you can do this better by trying to work local. So you can do this better if you're not in the corporate world, or almost everything is corporatized, like even if you're college campus or whatever, still you're in the bureaucracy, right? The systems. So 5D is completely operational outside of those systems, although it looks like somebody like me is very much in the 3D world and hooked into those systems. Sure, I mean, I'm bringing up a coffee trailer, and so it is like a little coffee shop on wheels, and I'm getting inspected by the health department, so I have to deal with 3D, right? But in my 5D life, I literally have so many jobs right now where I live, and I can just get up at 6 in the morning and just go nonstop and do a gazillion different things. I own a wellness center, I teach yoga, I run a cafe on the weekends, I'm bringing up this coffee business, I paint graphic design signs, I mow people's lawns, I do construction work, I have a social life, I play guitar, and I have a boyfriend. Like, I can do all of this stuff because of 5D. If I was still in my 3D self, I'd be melting down with all of what's going on. And I was in my 3D self during the winter. I really I knew about 5D energy and I knew how to work with some of this stuff, but I really came into it once we got through that eclipse in April. But I worked with the energies from January up until the eclipse, and after that, everything came into place, and I was never planning on running a cafe or having a coffee shop ever. And I still do great work out of the wellness center, and that's where a lot of the 5D transition is taking place, in the teaching that I can do for clients and other interested parties that collaborate there, like other healers. So I did have And a lot of us have had this information that a shift was going to happen on our planet since, some of you, since the 80s. Me, it was in the 90s. When I got wind of that. And so some of us have been prepared for decades for like the shift, the change, something. Well, we're in it. We are in it, right? And so we're going to 5D, but like nobody really knows how to do it. So we have to help each other. So people like myself, this is day one, man. This is June 1st. And that was my commitment. June 1st, I'm going to get on. I don't know if I'm going to put this on a new YouTube channel yet, or if it's going to be on the one I already have, but 5D transitioning. I want to help you guys, and I'm not for sure like all of it. I mean, I don't know. I'm figuring it out, right? And people are going to help me, and we're going to have to help each other. But I'm going to put it out there and inspire you guys to start working with these energies, describing how it feels, what you can do when you get dragged back into the 3D, because there's going to be that. As soon as you start transitioning and people see your glow and they see you are just like, maybe you lost a bunch of weight, you're physically fit, you look better than you ever have, and they're like, how the hell are you doing this? People are going to accuse you of being on drugs. I'm going to tell you that because that has happened to me. People are going to accuse you of lying. They are going to be jealous of you. They can't be happy for you. All that will happen, yes, but that's the 3D world. The 3D world is going to try to drag you back, man. They're going to try to drag you back. But the good news is we're all going to 5D. And once more than 50% of us go, then everybody will just go, or those that don't will sink and everybody else will just go. So it's fine. You don't even have to worry about all the haters, but you do have to know that will happen, but we'll walk each other through it, right? We'll walk each other through it. We support each other. That's what 5D is. Extending a hand to help, getting together, knowing that we're not all separate. We are one. 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 And we can do this together. So, all right, this is day one. This is the first video, introduction to the 5D transition. I love you guys. Okay, so part 2 of day 1 of 5D transition. Next thing to say, next message coming in is we do need to cut each other some slack here, people. We're going to have to bring down all the judgments that we have and stop with the petty bullshit, okay? So if you are posting online about politics, just stop. I mean, it's not going to help. It's not going to help. It just feeds the 3D world. And we're moving away from that now. So if you're really interested in transitioning, that is number 1, turning off the television, I think I mentioned. And then, yeah, cutting each other some slack. There is way too much 3D gossip going on and trying to damage other people's reputations and trying to dim other people's light, and a lot of jealousy. And again, this is going to be harder for older people because the baby boomers and anybody older than them, but you know, they're pretty much the oldest humans on the planet, are the biggest babies on the planet energetically and spiritually, as far as what I can see. And I think, you know, there are a lot of people in that generation that are also light workers and in the know and are transitioning. But there's a lot less of them in that generation because it's the old vibration and it's hard for them to get out of it. So younger people in your 20s especially, I know you cannot stand dealing with us older people. I say us because I'm going to turn 50 in November. And so I'm Gen X, and that's old to people who are Gen Z. And then you've got millennials in there too. So if you're in your 20s or younger, you know, we seem unrelatable. It's hard. It's awkward to communicate. And the older generation is frustrated by that. And then they're like, why can't these kids communicate? Because their faces are in the screen all day. But the baby boomers' faces are in their screens all day, right? The baby boomers are very judgmental. And the Gen Z and the younger kids are not, they're like, okay, boomer, whatever. We don't care what you think. We don't care what you think. And because that's the 5D energy, right? The 5D vibration is, we don't care what you think, right? We are free. We are sovereign. There is nothing governs us. We're existing. We're free human beings. We just want to be in Earth School and enjoy the abundance of planet Earth. Be compassionate, build beautiful communities where there is no territorialism or ego involved. The abundance of this planet can take care of every human, and the technology that we have can as well. Now, yes, there's always going to be light and dark because this is the way that planet Earth works. This is the way Earth School works. So as many light workers as we have that are all into love and light, we have dark workers as well that are really love to hate. You know what I mean? The haters, they love it. But here's the truth of it all. When it comes down to the core of it all, we are one. those dark side people, they can do it without malice, right? They can do it in a way that is like the clown, is like the entertainer, is like the joker, right? But without the malice. They don't really intend harm, and but they just play a role where they operate on the dark side or they communicate with the dark side. And in the 5D world, the dark side isn't so heavy and negative and war and hate and killing and rape and, stealing and whatever. It's just not like that in 5D, but there is going to be light and dark because we're still existing on planet Earth, right? So do keep that in mind. We're not removing darkness, but we are all learning how to work with darkness, and that includes our own. Each one of us has a narcissist in us. There's healthy narcissism that protects us, and there's unhealthy narcissism that we all have in us. Some people are way over to the sociopath, like all the way on a narcissist side. That's very hard to deal with. That's very dark side, and it's also very dense in 3D, so it's not going to move into the 5D vibration that easily. However, somebody who can address their own narcissism and say, well, I've got a bit of that, but I do feel like I want to be full in love and light, and I am excited, and I do feel exhilarated, and I want to go in this direction, but I know that I have this and I can see how it's holding me back in life. Now, that's very hard for all of us, right? But if you're interested in transitioning and you're watching a video like this, just know that yes, you are narcissistic in some ways, in some circumstances. Sometimes it's necessary for you because you are protecting yourself or putting up a boundary. And other times it is purely selfish ego because our 3D self is still transitioning to 5D, right? We've been the 3D self our whole life, so no one knows how to do this. So we're going to move over to 5D, but we've been sitting in a pit of narcissism our whole entire life. Now, some of us are empaths too, and we've functioned out of the empath role more than the narcissism. And we're maybe in touch with that, or we're caretakers, we're compassionate human beings, we're light workers, we're healers, we want to help. But still, we have the narcissist in us. And until we are willing to see our own darkness, we are not going to be willing to accept somebody else's light, really see light, because we're not really seeing our darkness. And if we want to just project that and see it in other people, but we don't want to relate to it ourselves, then we're in 3D. We're not going to move on. So it must be addressed and worked with. And then you can say when it's unhealthy, hey, I'm going to cut that out. You thank people for having conversations with you where they called you out. You start apologizing, and you start moving into 5D energy. So that's another message for the day is one, we got to cut each other some slack when nobody knows how to do this. Old people, young people, try to I know it's hard to relate and it's awkward, but just try to cut each other some slack. Don't get so annoyed. Me, myself, I need to cut the 3D world some slack because when I go there, I'm used to being in the workforce and I'm running businesses right now. And when I launch these businesses, I'm all like 5D, 5D, 5D. But then when I'm working the 3D world in them, I'm like, so agitated with the 3D world. So I'm working with myself on this as well. I don't want to just go to anger and agitation when I have to be in the 3D world because I'm going to have to be there a lot too. I want to learn how to move my love and compassion from 5D over to the operations of 3D, which don't feel like that. They're in a different vibration. Another thing to understand about all of this, everything is frequency. So learn about frequency, work with frequency. Everything is frequency, and we can get into that conversation later, and it doesn't really matter for right now. Right now what matters is chipping away at the 3D self and getting it to move over into 5D. So there's some ego stuff right now we're all pretty heavy with. There's a lot of petty stuff. There's stuff in the news that just, I don't know if any of you went through this, but I know top astrologer Pam Gregory said that this would happen, and it has happened to a lot of us. The news looks like a clown show. It just looks fake. It looks like cartoons. No interest in it. Can't even, I used to, 2 months ago, maybe at the beginning of the year, definitely last year and the year before. Oh yeah, looking at the news all the time. I can't even scroll through it right now. And this is all post-eclipse, no interest in that. It literally is cartoons. It is 3D cartoons, right? So who cares? We just leave it. Don't even worry about the system. Don't worry about money, especially. That's another thing. Like, we have abundance on this planet. This whole money game is a part of the 3D old, like, brainwashing. It's a system set up. It is rigged. I mean, we know that. We see all the corruption on every side of every fence when it comes to the system. We see some good people trying to get in there in the workforce, and they're frustrated because it's like, wow, this is also evil. Like, no matter what industry you're in, it's corporatized now. I've quit my pharmacist job, working for some of the, man, the biggest evils. Because not only is it big pharma, it's the corporations that have the pharmacies in them, these big box stores, these conglomerates, and they're so corrupt. And they throw money at us, just not talk about it. And I have filed reports about that. Didn't matter in the 3D world because all of that's fake. Those reports, they go to a department that seems like it's there to help. It's just there to go like, oh, we're burying this. That's all everything is. There's no protection of your rights. There's no such thing as rights. There's just only an agreement to that because we have unfortunately just been brought up that way. It's been handed down. But we are breaking the ancestral lines of this way of thinking. We are moving into a different way of thinking. So as I'm talking about this right now, I hear this white noise and real high pitched coming in because what is happening and will happen to you too, when you start talking about that 3D system like I just was, right, they're going to come in and even in the frequencies we transmit on or you hear your radio on, those are on the 3D frequency meant to keep you down, right? So I hear that buzzing in. It may have come into your world. And so if you just felt a little agitated there, that's on purpose. I am sure of that from the 3D world because the 3D world's going to try to grab us back and say like, no, don't talk about that. I mean, everything's fine the way it is. It's all under control. It's all under control. Just like go to work, go to work, go to work, go to work. And get stuff, buy stuff, like that's insane. Another thing with 5D, less stuff. Lighter body. It's fabulous. Like just getting rid of stuff, shedding weight, feeling light, not having to eat as much, having this amazing energy. Like people literally will think you're on drugs because it seems like you are. It is a natural high. And actually that's probably the best way. I'm glad I just even stumbled upon saying that. That is probably one of the best ways to describe this. It is a natural high, you guys. And we're gonna get there and stay there. And I love that some of the younger people already have this. And I hate that the older people are trying to crush their world and like, just some of the stuff that, when I did tune into headlines, it's crazy. It's crazy what we have been doing to one another. And when we transition, all we're going to want to do is help support each other. We're going to want to help one another. It's going to be exciting. It's quick energy. It's happy manifesting. It's using the new technologies for the good. And that can go really fast. And I mean, it can be like, yeah, everybody's afraid of AI. No, we can use something like that for the good of all. There's also other young people developing ways to clean up the planet with new technologies, and there is a whole vibe shift going on. It's just really hard for older people to understand that. They're really linked to that television. They're really linked to a certain thought process. And it is hard to unhinge from that. It is really hard to let go of something that you have like just stringently held to your whole entire life. But why are you? Just live. Be whatever and whoever you want to be. Even if it's not a moneymaker. Just do it. Just do it. Just see if you can just live and see what comes and not worry about it. And sometimes you're going to make money doing what you love. Sometimes you're just going to be doing what you love and not making money. But all the time doing what you love is 5D, okay? And you can get there. And I've been there. I'm there, right? But I still am getting dragged back into that 3D world all the time. But right now, this is the time to start speaking about it, collaborating on it, figuring it out. How are we going to get there? And let's help each other out. Let's do this together. Nobody knows for sure exactly, right? But we have some energies to work with now. We have some experiences to talk about and information to share. Testimonials to share. A lot of people, again, I'm going to refer to Pam Gregory, top astrologer. Again, there are many people I listen to, but she's really on the vibe. She knows it's all about frequency, but some of her people have reported like seeing blue lights, and I did, and there are so many people that have. And so it's our testimonials of coming together and putting it out there on YouTube or other various social media, talking about it to let people know it's not just you. No, we have a vibe shift going on, right? We're going 5D. We really are. I'll explain where 4D went. You've probably, if you know 5D, you already know, but 4D is just like, it went. It just, we didn't know that that was going to happen, but it was like probably the eclipse. It was like, okay, 3D, and then like, oop, 4D, 5D. Now 5D is expansive, and now we're working with 5D, right? We're like, oh gosh, how do we do this? Because, oh my gosh, I thought that person was my friend, and they just totally like dissed me and stabbed me in the back. And so that's 3D. It's like, oh my gosh, just gotta let it go. Just let it go, let it go. Maybe they might circle back around. You might see them in 5D. Who cares? Who cares? The 5D energy is the who cares, who cares. I am living the life of my wildest dreams. So why would I really care? And like I said in part 1, when you start flying high and go in 5D, you're going to experience that from people that are stuck in 3D. There's going to be people in 3D that are telling you that they're in 5D, right? But if they're throwing shade at you, making up stories about you, trying to catch you in this or do that to you, or play mind games, or manipulating, or any of that. I mean, even if they're just trying to give you advice and you're like, whoa, I'm not, like, I wasn't asking for, no, you're not putting all that on me. You know what I mean? Just don't worry about it. Just know that it's going to happen, and don't get dragged back down into 3D world, because that's what the 3D cells want. They're like gripping on, right? As soon as we have more 5D cells than 3D cells, we're all going to just go. But right now, it's the 3D is gripping, right? So again, I know I said that earlier, but I do want to re-emphasize it. It's something that you're going to go through. You can't blame that on anybody else, though, as well. That goes back to the cutting slack. When you're uncomfortable, being human is so uncomfortable, right? We're constantly either hot or cold or whatever. You know, I'm scratching itches right now. We're always uncomfortable, right? So just know that's a part of being human. That's a part of the old human. When we get all the way over to 5D or beyond, where we're the new human, it won't be as uncomfortable. But Earth School is uncomfortable for a reason. Like, we're here doing a soul journey. It's temporary as far as being in our meat suit. It's temporary. Like, we're only going to be here like maybe 100 years if you have a long life, 80, whatever, 70, and some people not that long. And so that physical discomfort, hot, cold, light, dark, always shifting, always changing, can't get used to things, don't know what's going on, I feel separate, ego, all of that stuff is Earth School. But we've been operating in this 3D muck, right? In these systems that are just very kind of just not benevolent systems at all, right? We have to get rid of those systems, and they'll go. There's just, and I wouldn't even put any energy into how, what, where, when, why, when. No, who cares when? Right now, you're transitioning to 5D. Right now, you're transitioning to 5D. So who cares when anything else, right? And that's all you have to focus on, is where you're at and what you're doing. And when you get down and you're stressing and you're mad or you're uncomfortable, that's not anybody else's fault. Even if somebody's attacking you with negative energy or lies, or trying to manipulate you, or playing mind games, or trying to destroy your business, that's none of your business, right? Just moving on over, give it up to God if you're a believer. If you're not, just moving on over, get on with yourself and move into 5D, and just know, like, no, I'm living the life of my wildest dreams. It doesn't really matter anybody else's energy bubble at all. It really doesn't. As long as you are zinging and flying high in that energy, and you're doing what you love, you're not sacrificing anything, you're not worrying about money, you're just doing what you love, and you're trusting your vibe, and you're trusting this vibe shift, and you have a good support system. Get rid of all the people in your life who are trying to dim your light. Even if you love them, you can still love them, but just get them out of your environment, because you don't have time for that right now. You go in 5D, they'll just keep trying to pull you back. But you're going to see other people in 5D that are going to grab your hand and pull you forward and say, like, yes. And you're going to be surprised who you connect with. You're going to be surprised who's your supporters, and you're going to be surprised at who is not. And all of that is okay, but leave it in the 3D world. There's really nothing else to be done but leave all the baggage, all the density, all the darkness, all the depression, all the anxiety, all the grief, all of the bad memories, all the trauma, all the past. Leave it in the 3D world and just start today, no matter how old you are, just start living the life of your wildest dreams. Just look at what you have right in front of you right now and start there. Whatever you have, you can do something with what you have. Take a first step toward whatever it is, the life of your wildest dreams, right? I'm living mine, and I don't even know how so much has happened since April when I quit my corporate job and I said I'm dedicating a year of like April to April of just working local. I'm going to see what happens. And I've been manifesting and in a dream builder workshop from like I did that the first 12 weeks of the year from January, through March. And then the eclipse happened. And then like I'm a completely different person. I now have like a different business that I didn't even think I was gonna have. I have a different jobs that I wasn't even planning for, and I all of a sudden after like 49, well, I won't say 49 years of struggling to find a partner because you don't start looking until you're like a teenager, but like 30 something years. My longest relationship has been 3 years long, of just trying to not even find, I guess, just being without a supportive partner and being on my own during this whole transition. Here comes like the man of my dreams, and he's been a friend of mine for the last 5 years, and I did not see it coming. And so everything starts falling into place in the 5D world. And so for me, I'm just completely different than I was in March even. And it's June 1st. So I'm telling you, it's exhilarating. It is exhilarating. And the amount of stuff that I can get done in a day, I am a productive person, but I know, like people that know me, I've struggled with my mental health and with anxiety, and I would be having meltdowns right now if I was in the 3D vibe with all that I am doing. But I'm doing all that I'm doing. It's a little too much. I have a lot on my plate, okay? I'm doing what I'm doing without the meltdowns. Without the meltdowns, just totally like, okay, yeah. And, today I backed up my boyfriend's truck that I call my truck, and I kind of like, I put a dent in it, and I broke the tail light, right? And the bumper is weird, and I feel so bad, right? And I'm gonna pay for it, and it was such a 3D moment, but at the same time, there was no meltdown, like, and he's so nice about it, and so supportive about it, and it's just money, and it's fine, it's just money. Like, I do feel bad, but it's not heavy. I'm not melting down. I'm not, super anxious. And that is so different for me too. So just know that I'm going through this. So I'm telling you, testimonial. And I know some of you are too. And so help the people around you. If you've gotten a hook into this 5D energy and you're flying high, and then you struggle because you're getting sucked back into 3D, and you see somebody else that's like, whoa, I feel weird. I don't know what's going on and this and that. Help them out. Just say, me too. Look, this is what's going on. And start talking about it, because once we all do, then we're going to be able to get there together, and that will make it happen faster, and it's going to be a better world. When we get to be the new human, it's going to be such a better world, right? So we're on our way, guys. Okay.